What's up with it? What's up with it? Diehard fan sports show back in the building. Thanks to um, Sports for America for putting me on. Um, Bringing y'all the show again from Dallas, Texas. Man, game already on. The Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies, which is sadly disappointing without John Morant. Man, can't catch a break, right? It seems like it fall in the favor of the king, right? Um, I don't think the Grizzlies stand a chance without John Morant. I think they can maybe win a game, maybe make the games interesting. Same thing with the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis. That game's taking place right now as well, I think. But yeah, losing these stars. I talked about it a little bit last week, but losing these stars kind of it's kind of deflating because you want to see best basketball ever. Um, so without those guys at 100%, the Heat. I thought the Heat could make that series interesting in a perspective of making the games close, but I didn't think they stood a chance at winning that series. But without Giannis at full strength, then it can go either way. And if without, just take Giannis out of the equation, Jimmy Butler's the next best player on the court. And then I guess Drew Holiday, and then bam. So, two out of the three best players on the court will be with the Heat. And I think that that's just a better fit. I don't know. It's a struggle when you're looking at um, what could have been. Don't know how long these players will be out, or if they out extensively. But we do know Draymond gonna miss one game. But I said it before. How much is Draymond being Draymond before it's costly? And then, you know, all day long, all I've been hearing about, they've been bringing up old stuff when it comes to Draymond. Not even just the stuff this year um, with Jordan Poole and a couple of other incidents throughout the season. They started talking about back 2016 or whatever when Cleveland made the comeback and beat them. Draymond it was suspended. Um, and it says it cost him a championship. Is that not disrespectful to, like I'm a LeBron. I depose LeBron. I root against him. But is it not disrespectful to the so-called king to say that they wouldn't have won that championship, and Kyrie and Kevin Love and those guys that were on that Cleveland team that won that year, 73-9 Warriors, to say that if Draymond didn't get taken out, then they probably wouldn't have lost that. Then Golden State wouldn't have lost that. Like Cleveland wouldn't have won. Ain't that like disrespectful? Anyway, they bring up that, but really when you look at it, they say it's his whole body of work or whatever. But we know, um, I think the punishment is a little too harsh. I don't think he should have been suspended. I agree with let's say he shouldn't have been suspended, and the only reason I say he shouldn't have been suspended is because I say he shouldn't have been suspended because look at the actions. Look at exactly what happened. Sabonis grabbed him, man, and it's like, yeah, it was a bit excessive, and he took the flagrant two foul and was ejected from the game. That should have been enough right there. But Draymond being Draymond, cost. And I'm not going to even say, I agree with Charles Barkley on the fact that Draymond's antics or that suspension or whatever, or to talk about that incident. Um, see in that series, Kings are series faster, they quicker. Um, and, and like they're a rookie team, giving way too many turnovers. But these guys are in the passing lanes. These guys are up on them. Their hands are quicker. Everything that I see happening in that series leans towards Sacramento just being the better team so far in the first two games. Not saying that they ain't gonna swing, tomorrow or whatever when they hit Golden State. When they're in Golden State's building, I should say. When Golden State got the home court, it might switch a little bit then. But really, what I'm saying, I'm seeing way too much. Um, lollygagging, as you know, as my old coaches would say, my old football coaches would say. I see too much lollygagging by the Golden State Warriors. I see Wiggins brought his game. He came to play both games. Wiggins looked like he came to play. But Steph gonna get his numbers or whatever. Clay doing that, but you need the other players to step up. Not only that, you need to play some defense and stop these guys, or stop giving up the easy buckets. It's like Sacramento didn't even shoot well in game two, but the thing that swung the momentum without them shooting good was the fact that they jumped in them passing lanes, and they was all those turnovers really helped them out. That really helped them. Um, but sticking with this series that's on right now, um, the Lakers and Grizzlies, like it's just deflated to see an injury be the way that a team would advance. But it happens. I mean, in sports, it happens. You still got to go out there and play. I said it all year long. I've been harping on Memphis. Like all they got is Ja Morant. They need something else other than Ja Morant. They need another player that can ball. And speaking of that, I'm gonna go on record as saying the series from last night, the game from last night, game two, Phoenix won the game. Booker dropped 38. Notice how they say Booker exploded 38 points when Kawhi dropped 38 the first game. You hear all that hoopla behind it. Chris Paul was non-existent in game one. He hit a couple of buckets down the stretch in game two. Then I'm listening to this guy say, "This is what he always does." No, it's not. Here it is right here in that series. I'm still going for the Clippers without Paul George. But if they had Paul George, I would say it would be a gentleman's sweep easily. Period. If the Clippers had Paul George right now, the Clippers would gentlemen sweep them or sweep them. Or I just don't see it from Phoenix. The depth is one thing that I see. The other thing that I see is Phoenix. Once the Clippers really get going, they don't really have answers with defense, and I think the depth is going to be a problem for Phoenix if the game goes 6 or 7. But you never know what's going to happen at this point. But can you play all those minutes? Kevin Durant coming off injury, Booker, who was injured early on. These guys got to get into that conditioning to play all those minutes. I ain't taking nothing away from them though. I just don't like the Suns. CP3. I mean, get man a good point. Got it. Ain't bad. Guys, all these things about he's this floor in the road that you no. I mean, his teams have won nothing, and he's unreliable. But now they gonna say, this is what he does because they have one good game. We're gonna see how it goes when they move it to LA. We're gonna check that out tomorrow and see what's popping on that one. But then, man, let me get to the Knicks. Man, the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Wow, I see another injury right now. Looking at another injury right now. Another guy laying down on the floor. His teammate landed on top of him. Oh, that's crushing. Yeah, his teammate landed on top of him. Number 27 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ouch. That hurts right there. Jaron Jackson Jr. just landed on top of his teammate. Um, but as I was saying, that Knicks Cavaliers series, crazy, crazy. Um, the way the Cavaliers blew them out, like the Knicks was just satisfied with getting one on their court. Like, and I don't really, I don't mind that approach, but I don't really like that approach. I think that if you can take a team out, you take a team out. The ball was like and some of the greatest to ever do it, go there and put up ridiculous expected. No different for Donovan Mitchell in Madison Square Garden. However, I misspoke. Like I got to give him his props. I didn't know Jalen Brunson would make that much of a difference, but when the ball's in his hand, New York stand a huge chance of doing big things, taking a lot of pressure off the Julius Randle. Julius Randle actually looks better now that he has somebody like Jalen Brunson. But for me, it's quickly gonna have to play his tail off in order for them to win that series. Same thing with some of the other series, like like Milwaukee. Lopez gonna have to really pick up his game. Um, and where's the Jay Crowder? Like, did he just not fit with that scheme of things? Where's Jay Crowder? I thought that he would, especially in the playoffs, he would play monumental minutes. Now on the other side, go back to the Golden State. DiVincenzo or whatever his name is giving you absolutely nothing. He needs to sit down. Steve Kerr gonna have to sharpen up his rotation, man. He gonna have to find those that want it and put them on the court. You got liabilities. If anybody saw the games, then you see what they doing, man. They going right at Steph, Fox and them boys going right at Steph, but then um, also they going right at Jordan Poole. When Jordan Poole on the court, they picking him out like you ain't got, But man, you got to slide your feet. You got to try to defend something. Something got to change to swing the momentum for Golden State, other than just their veteran savvy. I know that veteran savvy kept the first game close and kept them in the second game, even it was close until the Draymond action. And then it seemed, but the biggest keys is even when he didn't have a great shooting game, Fox still came up big hitting shots. I mean, I'm just impressed with the speed of the Sacramento Kings and the hunger that they have. It must be the coaching. If Mike Brown ain't the coach of the year, then I don't know who is. And also the clutch performer, first time they get an award out, it goes to De'Aaron Fox. And I think he deserved it. I think he playing his tail off, man. He doing what he's supposed to do. To show that young leaders of the teams, and normally young teams don't go far in the playoffs, but I think they can beat Golden State. You just can't count Golden State out because of their pedigree, because of who they are. But at the same time, if Golden State, though, if Golden State doesn't match the intensity, but we'll see what it's like for Sacramento going on the road. Can they still carry that same intensity? Because if they bring that same energy into Sacramento, I mean, into San Francisco, then you're gonna see changing of the guard. I think Golden State gonna be out of there real swift. Um, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Like most of these series are competitive, more competitive than what I predicted. Even Boston handled business. They 2-0. They up 2-0 on Atlanta, but you don't know what Atlanta gonna show up. Hopefully Atlanta go home and then they come back and they doing something impressive. Because right now they ain't doing nothing. It's a diehard fan show. I want to give a quick shout out to Nerd Focus, the energy drink. Check out the Nerd Focus energy drink. Get your brain right, your game tight with Nerd Focus. Another shout out to Fancy Lips Cosmetics. If you like organic cosmetics, check out fancylips.com. Also, check out Fam Brand. You can check out the Fam gear at fam.brand. Instagram. Hit them up, people. You can see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And also, don't forget about my book. I'm getting ready to launch another one. I know I keep saying that, but it's coming. The second book is coming. Pains That a Man Hide 2 is coming by Karuin on Amazon. Check me out with the first one, though. Thanks for all the support and the love. Now, back to what I was saying as far as this NBA playoffs. Like the refs have pretty much been letting them play in certain series and haven't really been dictated the outcomes of games, and I've been appreciative of that. I'm going to continue to say that if they continue to um, you ref the games that way, officiate the games that way, then it's going to be good for the NBA. I think, but I think all eyes are on what's happening with Golden State, LA, and the turn of the Bucks. I think the Bucks can still make that series competitive. I don't know if they can win without Giannis, but I think they can make it competitive. Without a full strength Giannis, I think that they possibly could. But Drew Holiday gonna have to really step up his game on the offensive end in order for them to come through with wins. Jimmy Buckets is gonna be Jimmy Buckets in the playoffs, so you can't take nothing away from the coach. The next seen they games speed. I mean, but better. I totally understand that. I'm not knocking Philly for being a better team, but my problem with Philly is, man, they not gonna win anything. Mark my words, they not gonna win anything with Joel Embiid flopping around on the ground all the time. I say this 3 year in the playoffs. I don't know. This guy's got to be the clumsy. Is he not the clumsiest guy you ever seen? Every time you turn around, he on the ground. I mean, either he flopping. I mean, he too big for all that. Like for me, it's like, this dude lives on the ground. He always knocked down or something. It's like, Joel, stay on your feet, man. Like I think that's gonna hurt them going later on, man. All that bouncing them off the ground, like, and sometimes it's just him. Like, but I'm just saying, like, it just looked like to me, Joel Embiid a little clumsy out there, man. He always on the ground, always flopping around. It's like, man, stay on your feet, stay on your feet, Joel. Like, be a stand-up guy. Stop rolling over so easily out there on the court. I don't know if Doc Rivers tell him that or what. I mean, you can't say, man, the guy playing his behind off. He putting up numbers. They rushing him. They trying to get the ball out of his hands. But when he go one on one, he killing them out there. But at the same time, I just think I said it before, and I keep saying it about Joel Embiid. The guy is like a clown to me, man. He's always on the ground. It's like, yo, um, he as big as he is, like I think it's just clumsiness because he playing like like a small guard. Like remember AI used to always be on the ground, but that was because he was going in there amongst the giants. He was a little man going in there amongst the giants. That's a little bit different. Isaiah Thomas end up on the ground. I mean, you understand the smaller guys going in there and always, but Joel Embiid, man, he always on the ground. It's like, man, everything just knocked you down. It's like, man, dude pass by you, you fall down. Like, teammate bump you, you fall down. I mean, this guy just lives on the ground. I remember when the game was played above the rim, so to speak. But anyway, if Joel can clean that up, they're gonna go far. They're gonna be, they're gonna be in the second round easily. It appears because it don't seem like Brooklyn have enough firepower to fight. I like what Bridges is doing. Bridges is bringing his game. Johnson, what's his name? Cam Johnson. He playing all right here and there, but they don't have no consistency out of nobody else. That's really holding it down for them. What I like about what I'm seeing about Philly. Um, Even though I don't have Philly high as making it anywhere, which now, like I said, the injury to Giannis might change what the East outcome looks like. But what I'm seeing from um, Philly, James Harden passing the rock. He's showing off his passing skills, which is great. He's scoring when he needs to score here and there. But we're going to see when the pressure tightens up in the next round. How Philly performs then and how James Harden performs then. I think right now, like I said, you played against a team, the Nets. I don't know what adjustments the Nets could make to make the game other than hit shots. Other than hit shots. And I thought Dinwiddie I thought Dinwiddie was a better defender um, than what he's actually showing so far in this series. But I think I would give Joel Embiid all the points that he wants, and I would try to take away the other guys if I was Jock Font. I would try to play. That would be my strategy. Let Joel Embiid go one on one, um, and let him uh, score or do whatever he has to do, other than letting James Harden anywhere on the court that he wants to pass. I would start. I would play more the perimeter guys because you were giving up a lot of buckets to Tobias Harris and Maxi making shots and stuff. You got to try to limit those guys. And I would let Joel go crazy. It's a pick your poison type thing. It's like you gonna have to do something. Like that's what I'm looking for in the Clippers series. They're gonna pick their poison, whether they're gonna let Booker get off or they're gonna let KD get off. Um, but I think the Clippers, it doesn't matter. They can let those dudes get off, and as long as they play some defense on everybody else, then it changes the game. It changes the game just a little bit. Um, but the biggest takeaways that I've taken away that I've looked at so far, Austin Reeves surprised. I didn't think that he would be a factor, but so far, game one he was a factor. We'll see what he does tonight in game two. But Reeves stepped up big for the Lakers in game one, and then he was talking that noise. I'm him. I'm him. We're gonna see who you are. Uh, you know, Sometimes I don't let the chatter get there. Then you look at the Nuggets. The Nuggets playing tonight later on tonight against the T Wolves. I don't see the T Wolves really having a chance if the Nuggets come out to handle business. They were in the right to earn it right and then actually big. I want to see them be a little bit more competitive, make some shots, make the game tougher. I mean, to have Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns and then Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson and all those guys, and to not even uh, make the games competitive, that'll be a letdown. I mean, always like coach because it's just seem like just happy to be in the playoffs. Like the Kings satisfied. I think it's Mike Browns drive to make them better. But I see where, on the other hand, the T Wolves look like they just happy to be there. Maybe they get over the happiness and they get to play some basketball tonight. Uh, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think the Nuggets are just a better team. I expect the Nuggets to make it to the next round, and I think that's where the next round, I'm expecting the Clippers to beat Phoenix, upset Phoenix, or whatever you want to call it. Um, because I've been telling y'all how good is Kawhi, man. Kawhi can play, and I think Kawhi and Powell and the rest of those guys, and Westbrook and the rest of those guys can really win that series. With Kawhi being the catalyst. Kawhi looks good so far in both games that they played. If he stays healthy, I think they can win that series. Um, and even if they don't, even if it's Phoenix, whoever wins that series is going to beat the Denver Nuggets anyway. That's the way I look at it. Denver Nuggets go down in round two. That's my early prediction. Not still a lot of ball being played. It's not saying that the T Wolves can't come back and rally and then do some damage, or even upset Denver before that. But I just don't see it happening. Look at that happening. It's really not strong. The strongest things, in my opinion, um, besides the refs letting the teams play, it seemed like the players wanted more this year. Like the Knicks look tough. The Cavaliers look like, hey, we ain't gonna just roll over and lose these games. Knicks stole home court. Now, Cleveland are trying to get it back. Same thing with the Suns. The Suns gonna want home court back after losing it the first game. Um, which the Suns could have lost the second game very easily. Like the Clippers was up in that second quarter, and then the Suns made the comeback and tied it up at halftime. But for me, it was more about. They say, oh, the expert is going to tell you, oh, they started double teaming Kawhi. Now, that had a little bit of effect. I like the adjustment by Money Williams. I didn't really think that Money Williams would make the adjustments. I didn't really see an adjustment from that period from Ty Lue. So I wonder what Ty Lue going to have in store in game three when they come at Kawhi like that, blitz him, as they say, with the double teams and stuff, and try to get the rock out of his hand. Well, it comes down to Kawhi was making the right pass, but dudes just wasn't making shots. Eric Garden, he's a streaky shooter, man. When he get hot, and I expect them dudes to get hot at home. So I don't know. Phoenix could very well be down 3-1 by the time they make it back to Phoenix for Game 5. So you look out for that. But also, is it a sweep in the future for the Atlanta Hawks? It might be a sweep. I don't think Boston playing with teams right now. I think Boston coming to get it over with. I've yet to see the fight of Atlanta. I thought if Atlanta came in with that same energy they had in that playing game, then they would be all right. But they don't seem to have nothing for the Boston Celtics, who just look way. I mean, the Boston Celtics looking like, hey, we ready to Eastern Conference Finals or something. But in a Boston Philly matchup with Joel Embiid, James Harden, um, what are you really looking at the decisive force? Jason Tatum, you know, um, I don't know if that Williams cat can do anything with Joel Embiid. It's not stopping. There's no stopping Joel Embiid, but to limit and make him work hard. What I'm not seeing is people making people work hard. You see John Morant in street clothes, a 15-point lead for Memphis, but I'm not getting all hype about that because it's still early in the game. You got 48 minutes to play. I'm loving the energy that Memphis is playing with, and I think if the game gets too far, I think they'll play up because hey, they did a job. They did a job, so to speak. They won. I don't know how you feel about that. Like that should be my question right there to stimulate your mind moment on this thing is what do you feel about teams who go into the give this they play uh homes big time like teams, you see it all the time. Teams just like we got our one, we good. But where's that killer mentality, so to speak? Where's that Mamba mentality that I want to win now? I'm gonna put you away. And while I'm on that subject of the Mamba mentality, man, I'm so sick of all these comparisons. Like all day, every day, you can see all these different comparisons, and I'm so sick of these comparisons of Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. I'm sick of those comparisons, man. Like, let it rest, people. Like, LeBron's had his time. His time's almost over. And now they saying, can you throw Steph Curry's name in there? Can you throw these different? Look, people. Here it is right here. In each era, respectfully, these guys have done their thing, and respectively, they've done their thing. So leave that alone. Let's move on. Let's find other topics. Like, like let LeBron have his flowers, man. 20 years of game, still doing his thing. I want to root against him on the court. I want to see Memphis beat them with Ja Morant, without Ja Morant. However you see it, Jim Brooks talk that noise about taking down the king. I want to see them slay the king. That's what I want to see. I want to see them beat the king. Like, if that's what you go to do. I want to see somebody be king at some point, I hope, within these playoffs. But man, LeBron, he always been a competitor. Just because he don't have that, just because he don't have that quote unquote killer instinct that Kobe had, that Mike had, don't mean the guy not a competitor. He's competed well enough to have 20 years of success in that league. And you got to think, in 20 years, he like Tom Brady. And 20 years, 20 plus years, half of his years have been in the finals. I mean, you can't ever take that away from a person. Never want to take that away. Like, maybe if he don't want a few more of those, then he could put that out of range. But um, I'm just sick of hearing the comparisons. I was on the IG today, and all I saw was these comparisons. Who's the best? That little clip where when Kobe's asked the question, may he rest in peace, but Kobe was like, he would put himself better than Mike, than he would put LeBron or whatever. I think it's from either Jimmy Fallon, like one of the late night shows, Jimmy Kimmel, one of them shows. He was on one of those shows and he ranked them. Maybe even been David Letterman. I don't even know what show it was, but I'm just saying, I remember him ranking them. And, they keep running these clips and they keep talking this noise. And as a throwback thing, now more today, I'm hearing more and more about the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons. I don't know why Isaiah doesn't get uh, much props or whatever. I still think Isaiah is one of the best scoring point guards the game's ever seen. I think he was tough. Um, but it's funny, like, you watch those clips and stuff, and I don't know what you guys' opinions are, but it came to my mind watching some of those clips where Isaiah won't credit for everything. Like, he probably telling the truth. Is he telling the truth about the ratings back then? That the highest ratings came from the Pistons, Celtics, Pistons, Lakers, Pistons, Bulls. Was the Pistons a part of all those? Did they really bring that? Like, maybe they did. I mean, maybe, I feel. But here's my thing. Um, when Isaiah starts talking, uh, you know, from a perspective, I'm not even going to mention him. I am going to mention it, I guess, but him being off the Dream Team, nothing. I still think he was one of the best players, and being a part of the best 75. That's just seal a deal for him. Hall of Fame. I think, but I just think, and I think he was one of the best ball handlers. Didn't always show in a game, but if you watch some of the trick moves that he could do with the basketball, Zeke was cold. But it's my opinion, along with several others, that probably Zeke's biggest problem is with Michael Jordan. It's not about the dream team or this, that, whatever. Is that Michael Jordan gets more love in Chicago than Isaiah Thomas. That's why you got to bring up certain things. Is like, hey, I'm not gonna say he jealous or anything, but I'm just gonna say it's animosity both ways there. And I wish that I wish that Jordan and Isaiah could patch things up, make things right. They too old for the beef and too old to keep hearing this stuff. But like, social media runs this stuff over and over, and that's all you get to see is the same old thing. It's the Diehard Fan Show, courtesy of Sports for America. Check out the Nerd Focus Energy Drink, and also, Snook One Productions. I'm gonna be doing great things here in the near future. Don't forget Fancy Lips Cosmetics. Check them out at fancylips.com. Fam Gear. You can check that out at Fam Brand at IG. Book about the book. The big two different prices because one is shorter than the other one. The ebook is shorter than the paperback book. That's why you see the difference in the prices. I've had people ask me that before, but let me get back into these sports now. Just shifting just a little bit. Jalen Hurts, 255 mil. He got his money, $255 million man. I think they said like 179, 180 of it guaranteed or whatever. And I know people still thinking Lamar ain't got a deal, but Jalen Hurts gets a deal. But he won the Super Bowl. So I posted a post just saying that, hey, take a team to the Super Bowl, Lamar. and then you get your money and stuff like that. But Lamar wants that bigger guaranteed money. Here's the thing. I like those that go out there and prove themselves and they get the money. I got no problem with Jalen Hurts getting his money. But now that's gonna set the market for the Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow gonna get a huge bag, man, and I think he deserve it. I mean, Joe Burrow already been to a Super Bowl, lost. Both of these guys lost in a Super Bowl, but as hard as it is to make it to a Super Bowl, they've been there. And Joe Burrow's been to two AFC Championship games already. So you got to look at those parameters. And where is Lamar taking his team? See, man, you want all this stuff. You got your hand out, but you ain't putting in the work, young fella. You got to be there for your team coming down the stretch. That's just my opinion. Diehard fan. It's yours truly, Cornelius Cole. But the thing is, I like Lamar. I defend him when they start talking his style of play and all this stuff because I think the young man could play any style that they want to play out there. If you want to drop back, pass the ball, you want to run the rock, whatever you want to do, I think he just got all that stuff in his arsenal. But my biggest thing is, man, you want all the money without earning it. Is my thing. Like you haven't earned enough. Talk about like, bruh, the valuable ones are out there doing it, and they getting it, and it's paying off. Like, go out there, take the Ravens to the Super Bowl, win or lose it or whatever. Take them to the AFC Championship game, win more than you know. Not to be funny or nothing, but now you got less. You've been in it less time, but you got one one playoff victory. Kyler Murray has zero, right? He has no playoff victories, right? Or whatever. So, but I'm just saying, Kyler Murray got the bag at the time. And, Arizona don't make the smartest choices. That wasn't a good choice to pay. That's just this my opinion. It wasn't a good choice to pay that guy to pay Kyler Murray because I don't even know if Kyler Murray gonna last in the league, and I don't know Kyler Murray good as a team player or going to make the necessary moves as a franchise player. But you never know. You might be surprised at what could happen when people get the maturity, when they mature a little bit. Hopefully this injury has humbled him somewhat, and he come back ready just to be that fierce leader and that competitor that he was in college. I mean, because it's gonna take more, and working with the coaches instead of arguing with the coaches and stuff like that. Now, like I said, it's just my opinion. I mean, you don't know what coaches say to tick people off these days, but and what do you think about that respect? Because you see it more and more, even in the NBA games. You see it, not so much baseball and hockey, but you see even at times you watching players in these leagues, going back and forth with the coaches. It's like, like let the coaches coach, and man, you go out there and play and perform to the best of your ability. And I think that the sensitive players that can't deal with the criticism and stuff, I don't think they really just last that long and whatever. But we see the old school people are sensitive and stuff like that. Like all the comparisons of, I get sick of the old school versus the new school comparisons because they say, oh, the games was more physical and all that stuff. Now in football, that's definitely true. They changed the rules to eliminate some of the big hits and stuff like that. I mean, so you've seen the transition. And basketball is not necessarily true. It's just like they playing basketball. That's the way the game's supposed to be played. And to go back to the whole Isaiah Thomas thing, where he was talking about, where Isaiah was talking about, um, changing the rules so Mike could win and all that. I don't know, man. Like that, that's all crazy. I don't know if that's either here nor there, but I think that they needed to clean some of that stuff up because clotheslining dudes. I said it before, and I'm gonna keep saying clotheslining dudes wasn't cool. That really wasn't basketball. Tackling a dude wasn't basketball. Punching a dude in the face was not basketball, man. Like that all that stuff like good. Or even a good shot at him hitting the guy, inadvertently hitting the guy and stuff like that. Those things happen within the course of the natural game anyway. From the hardwood to the blacktop, those things transfer. But what I'm saying is that tackling the guy, that was, so I get it. The bad boy Pistons came up in the era where the Lakers were doing that, the Celtics were doing that. I actually, I saw the documentary of the Lakers Celtics where it was said, I think it was Kevin McHale who said that the Lakers were so much faster than them that they had to hit them. That was the only way they could compete. The Lakers were up and down the court. They were quicker. They were faster. So all they had to hit them. They had to beat them up in order to make the game competitive. They had to find a competitive edge, and that's what it was: the bumps, the hits, and stuff like that. So all that stuff about the bad boy Pistons, no, they actually were good entertainment. I mean, I came up watching them. I thought it was good basketball, and I think they had a good three. I think they had like a good 2, 3, maybe even 4 year stretch. Like they lost to the Lakers in the finals, but then they won 2 championships. So they played some good basketball. I mean, hey, it is what it is in those times. But transferring back to these times and stuff, and you see Draymond Green step on the dude's chest, and you say, "Man, that's overboard." But some of the other antics that have been pulled, but you. But you see more cleaner games, and I appreciate that. Like like it's still a physical game, and the craziest thing is a lot of us, a lot of those people that say that the game is not as physical or whatever. You wouldn't want these guys to come to your gym because then you will see how much more physical the game is. It may not be brutal and beat down. You've eliminated just because you've eliminated the brutality in the game doesn't mean you eliminated the physicality in the game. Now, do I think sometimes and one of the biggest things that I like nowadays more so than anything is they've eliminated the phantom whistle. Remember the phantom whistle? See, some things you don't want to come back into the game. Remember that phantom whistle or that anticipation whistle of a foul that never ends up being committed, but it's too late and they could never review it or reverse it. And now they allow them to make sure that it's a foul or whatever before the whistle's blowing. Now it's the NBA, so all our players are always going to be like, "Nah, I ain't fouling nobody." Those things are going to happen. But remember the inadvertent, well, not the inadvertent whistle, but remember the anticipation foul whistle. That stuff used to, they used to bite in the game. It's like no contact is made. It's like a phantom foul, but they were anticipating contact, so the whistle blew and things like that. Like they eliminated all that stuff. I think it's a cleaner game. It's a quicker game, and it's better shooters. Like when you start comparing eras, let's just keep it real. It's better shooters in this era than has ever been in the league. All these majority of these dudes could shoot threes, in the 35% range, 33, 35%, 40% range and stuff. You got a lot of people that can shoot the rock now from distance. Not only that, um, the athleticism going per team is crazy, crazy, crazy. Like look at the Kings. The athleticism of the Kings is impressive. The athleticism of the players nowadays is impressive. Like the Heat bring certain elements of athleticism. I'm not talking Jimmy Buckets. I'm talking the Bam Adebayo. I'm talking the Vincent. I'm talking people, man. The athleticism has changed. If you go team for team, every team has these athletic uh, uh, caliber, man, freakishly athletic caliber players these days. I mean, it's way different. So, stop all the comparisons and errors. Let's live in the moment. Let's enjoy what's going on now because so far, they started off aside from the injuries to Ja and Giannis, it's really been a clean game. And let's not forget Tyler Hero. He's out of there for the Miami, which is going to hurt them a little bit in their series as far as, in that series as far as I see it. It's going to hurt them a little bit. But at the same time, injuries are part of the game, but clean that up. Back to the NFL for a minute where I was talking, draft getting ready to come up. So I'm going to say that the draft is next Thursday. So I'm going to save that for my show next week, next Wednesday. My show, it'll be about the draft and who's drafting, who I think drafting who and what order and stuff like that. We'll get more as I do more research as the draft approaches. But right now, as far as the NFL, you talk about early winners and losers of off seasons and yeah, biggest blue right is Devontae Adams. And I say that from a perspective is that, man, he went from catching passes from one of the best to ever play the game, Aaron Rodgers, arguably the best to ever sling the rock, and more accurate than anything. Then he went to Derek Carr, and he was still able to put up decent numbers and stuff like that. But then, Now he's down to Jimmy Garoppolo. Like unless Vegas got something up their sleeve. I mean, so to me, the biggest loser. I mean, you went from, and then not only that, you went from a team that was highly competitive and would have been competitive if probably you stayed in a couple of other pieces. I don't think just him alone would have helped the Packers out last season, but I'm just saying that you went from a team that was always competing for the chip, always in the running. Just this year they just now, missed the playoffs. So you look at it like, hey, and now you go into a team you don't know if you're gonna ever make the playoffs again with the Raiders. Let's just keep it real. With all that competition in the AFC, you just don't know if you ever. So I think he the biggest loser in my mind as far as different things. Not saying I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's a decent quarterback when he was with San Francisco. You don't know what a Garoppolo is going to do if he, getting away from Shanahan's philosophy and keeping it, like the Raiders, seem like they want to sling the rock all over the place and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's Garoppolo's game, but we're gonna get to see Jimmy G do his thing there. But at the same time, right now in my mind, the biggest loser is Devontae Adams. If you want to talk NFL losers right now, the Ravens look like they might be big losers too because you got a receiver that you wanted in OBJ, but they still don't have the quarterback that you want. So we got to just sit back and see how that all play out. And another thing I want to throw out there on the Diehard Fan Show, which is truly the people's coach. Another thing I want to throw out there is Tank Davis get ready this weekend to fight Ryan Garcia, and his nobody's looking at it like if Davis loses, then what? I mean, I'm thinking Davis is not going to lose this fight. But at the same time, if he loses this fight, then uh, what does that one? What does that do for Ryan Garcia? What does it say for Ryan Garcia? What does it do for Ryan Garcia? Those two things. And then what does it do for Davis? You know, what does it do for Davis? Because all it takes is one loss to the wrong person, and then careers are never pan out the same. So what does it do to Davis if he loses this fight? I think it'll have major implications upon some other fights that we anticipate to be made. I think Davis. He better go in there and he better handle business, look sharp. Don't go in there playing around because I think you can be out of there. And thinking about that, it makes me think about some of the greatest to ever do it. Like I like to talk boxing here and there, so I'm gonna get my little boxing little thing here. The Davis Garcia fight coming up this weekend. But Davis, you better deliver, bruh. I'm riding with you. I think you can handle it. But like I said, if Ryan Garcia is with the upset, that's gonna change. The state of some of the other matches that we're looking at, the potential matches that we could see Davis in, that's going to hurt a little bit. But I think those other guys that they call ducking and stuff like that, I think they're lining up to fight then. Like sort of like what happened with Pacquiao when Pacquiao finally got took out. Then people want to fight him then. But until then, you duck. And I'm basically talking about Floyd Mayweather. But you know how it is. It is what it is. Okay, so check it out. Um, I was looking and I heard like, oh, the best 3 rounds of boxing. I saw that today somewhere in a caption, and they were saying it was the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns or whatever the best rounds. Marvin Hagler won that fight to remain champion over the WBC champion. Okay, yeah. So who you got? I think that was impressive when you go back and watch the highlights. Like look it up, Google it. You'll see the highlights of that fight. Like it was blow for blow, toe to toe. They were throwing down. Those are classic fights. We can't get those eras back. But however, moving forward, I think we're starting to get to see some better fights. We're getting to see some better matchups and stuff like that in the fighting world, and that's going to be good. That's going to be huge. Now, my throwback to boxing. Uh, it's for your heavyweight and stuff like that. I got Foreman in my top. I got Foreman in my like top 7 or something of heavyweights of all time. I heard Joe Louis' name mentioned to me, but if I had to rank them, then I'm going Ali, Tyson. I'm going Ali, Tyson. Uh, you can throw Joe Lewis in there, but I also like watching the film of the Joe Frazier's. It's just certain fighters. But where would Evander Holyfield really rank as far as he came up from like the lower ranks? He was like a cruiserweight and stuff like that. Worked his way up to heavyweight and became heavyweight champion. And everybody, does everybody just remember him from getting his ear bit, or does anybody remember some of the monumental fights that he was in? Because that he did fight George Foreman. He fought George Foreman toe to toe. He beat George Foreman in a decision. He didn't knock George Foreman out, but he beat him in a decision. Uh, and he fought other fights like that was pretty good. As he fought Lennox Lewis. I mean, for me, Evander Holyfield was a decent fighter. I wouldn't say he was one of the greatest, but I would say that he held his own in there. But a lot of them heavyweights did. But a heavyweight fight could be changed on just one punch. But any fight could be changed on just one punch for that matter. And that's what you look at: the speed, the accuracy, the power. But when you start talking the greatest. Um, like I said, I heard the Joe Lewis man, but to watch fights in black and white and go back and watch. I mean, you got to go back and watch some of Ali fights, the Ali listings and stuff like that in black and white. And some of the fights, like some of the monumental fighters, but like Joe Frazier, he always gets slept on because they always said, oh, it's the fights that he fought Ali, even though he did beat Ali and then he lost to Ali, But at the same time, it's so many different fighters that you could mention, but some of the heavyweights, and then you bring in more modern. You bring it into the more modern times. Uh, you look at his name Wilder. He was supposed to be hot for a little while, and then until he met Tyson Fury, then he met his match. But how good is Tyson Fury? Like Tyson Fury, brutal in there. Like he put the beat down on guys, and for a guy his size, man, his swiftness is unbelievable. His quickness, his footwork is unbelievable. I'm all about that. I'm all about it's more than just the hands. It's the speed of the hands. Sometimes it's about the shiftiness, the craftiness, the ability to counter punch, duck a punch, get out the way, and then catch somebody. I mean, I like all stuff that all of it that come with the in different, the different boxing styles or the different fight styles. Like for me, Tyson was more of a fighter than he was a boxer. I mean, even though it was boxing, I still think he was more of a fighter than a boxer. You can go either way with it, but like that ability to shift up, you know. Um, but I say that to say that in order for boxing to be competitive, is in my mind, we're gonna have to get some U.S. heavyweight fighters. This is just my opinion. Some U.S. heavyweight fighters. I like the lower divisions. I mean, they put on a show here and there, but that's the best duck. So until all of them decide to aim in there against each other, we knuckle up. We're gonna put out there. Get your promoter, get your whatever, get your management with my management, and let's do this thing. Like, I would like to see myself the people's coach as a promoter because, I think I could put together better fight cards than some of the cards that they've been putting together. Me, but it's all about the people in your corner saying, "Hey, man, accept the challenge. Get out there and do your thing." Saw Shakur Stevens do his thing. Now we get ready to see Tank Davis, see what he got on it, see what do. And I want to go down the stretch of the show, and really what I want to talk about now. I've given you my take on the NBA and how things are panning out. I mean, the series look like you're gonna sit back. You know that Knicks series, that Knicks Cavs, here might go seven. The Suns, Clippers series look like it got the potential to go seven. Um, I don't know. The Heat look like they come to play, so that series might be extended. It's a few series that you might extend. This Memphis series with the Lakers that's on right now behind me, they might go. You never know what's going to happen. But my biggest predictions that I want to put out there is that I've already said who I thought was going to end up in the championship, but it looked like both teams going to limp in. No Paul George, and no Paul George and Giannis with a hurt back. Those things make a difference. But uh, if I had to go second, I mean, don't be surprised. You know, can the King make it finals? I mean, no. And or the Grizzlies if they say they not state Warriors, but I don't know if the Kings, uh, can the Kings push it? They might I think it's come down to that terrific coaching and that terrific hustle. If they keep hustling the way that they hustle, and that's what I was saying about the Clippers winning Game 1. It was the hustle of Russell Westbrook on the defensive end. He wasn't there, but he played good defense down the stretch. And I think that those are going to be the differences. And a lot of those teams that step up themselves, all teams for that, just a better defense. And y'all had worried for that the A teams can't play defense. That defense is just, you still see some lack in defense, and especially with the Golden State Warriors, for a team that that has always been a tough team, an undersized team, but they've always been tough to play on the other end, and a lot of easy shots that you would normally see Golden State. Golden State normally the ones pressing. I like Peyton, Gary Payton. The second, he should get more playing time. That's just my opinion. When that guy's on the court, they bring defense. With him and Clay on the court together, you might want to put Clay at the wing, and you might want to put Peyton on the floor with Steph just to get a little bit more defense and to get up on them in the ride. Wiggins playing D. I don't know how you would play all those when you got a wing player like Wiggins or whatever. But if you're gonna go small, go to State. If you're gonna go small, then I would put Wiggins at the 4, man. Draymond when he comes. Put Draymond at the 5 like you have in the past, and go with a smaller lineup. And, try to match that. You got to try to match that speed somehow. That's just my opinion on the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm no expert. I'm just a fan, but I still think that you got to make some adjustments. You can't just think that you're going to in and out of every game or whatever. It's got to be some ratchet up there. And I know that crowd is going to be different. You go home, then the crowd behind you, I know it's going to be different than maybe some of the other people step up, and you might see a little bit better defense at the shots. And the shots for the scrubs seem to go in when they're home. So those things hang in the balance. They win. But I look at Milwaukee. I said they were a deep team before, and now we're going to see they depth going to be tested against the Miami Heat. But with the Miami Heat, without Tyler Hero, they definitely lose a shooter. But Kyle Lowry, still got that fire bust you in the head every now and then. You got to watch all stuff. So it's really good to see the level. And this is the playoffs, but the level rise. I mean, I can't. If I was the only one worried, then something wrong, because we saw most of these teams sleep through most of the season and not pick it up. And you're starting to see the play, and you're starting to see teams coming together to get. And also, mentioning my Dallas Cowboys. I know I said I'll go talk draft next week, but I'm really looking forward to see who we draft and what do we go for, another piece of add of the offensive side to put around Dak, or do we go defense? And early on, what I pick. I mean, what we're gonna do. Speculation is the mock draft is we taking a tight end. That may be the case. We lost, but really and truly, I'm gonna sit back. I'm just gonna. Like I said, next week I have some comprehensive. I'm doing my homework. I have some comprehensive. Everybody knows who you can go on 1 through 5. Everybody pretty much going where, but at the same time, like in this list, because when you get beyond 5, 5 through next week, without all of them 1 through 1 through the first 32 picks. We'll discuss who look at what. Some teams have multiple picks. Some teams don't even have a pick in the first round. So but we still talk 1 through 32 and see how that goes. Like I said, I have a full list, and we'll go through them, see what's popping. I told you already who I'm looking at coming off the board. I don't know what team they're going to, but like I said, Anderson and Porter Jr., I think they're going to make impacts right away. Other players going to make impacts. I think it's a couple of offensive linemen that's going to sneak in there. I think, certain people going to do the opposite of what you expect them to do, because now the Panthers are already whispering about, they didn't say necessarily that they would take it or even though right ahead. You go to it. You really have to. I think if you're in the top 32, I think that's special. But I think especially if you number one, two, three, four, five, man, that's a lot. Those are life changing moments, and it's good to see the championship moments. Those life changing moments. These young men's lives are about to be changed forever. Just like we had the WNBA draft, and those young women's lives will change forever. Those that were picked, and I know last week I said I didn't know any of them. I mean, but it's true. Like got to do more homework on some of these colleges where some of these players came from. And as far as the women basketball, but the WNBA, is on the rise. It's impressive. Congratulations to them getting chartered planes and things like that for playoff situations and stuff. Hopefully the pay gets better. Hopefully the attendance gets better so the pay can get better, and hopefully the views get better so the pay get better. All those things lead to I want to see people win. I want to see the winning win also. Like as far as the sports and stuff goes, like not just be uh, out there playing and risking the same type of injuries and stuff as the men do and all that stuff, and not getting as much light. But I think that those highlights they come in real soon, where I wouldn't say total equity or equality or whatever, but I think it's going to get a lot better. And I think as it goes along, the WNBA will be interested in the next 4 or 5 years to see the build up the revenue, generate the revenue to be able to pay the players better and to be able to take care of the players better. Because of take care of your product, you can constantly put out a better product. I mean, we've seen other leagues and stuff in the past fold because they didn't exactly have the structure right. They didn't exactly do a lot, which I heard some crazy stuff. Mad Dog was in Raven on first take today about the Oakland A's ballpark and how shady it is, how raggedy it is, and how they're not taking care of their people, how they're not taking care of their players and stuff like that. But hopefully Oakland getting better because I hear they talking about possibly going to Vegas. They make that move to Vegas too. And what's up with the Oakland team saying, "Hey, we out, we going to Vegas." The Raiders did it, and now you're looking at possibly the Oakland A's going to Vegas also. Uh, Vegas is a booming spot, and it's a spot, especially with sports betting being allowed. It's a good, in my opinion, it's a good spot to have a sports organization. It's a good spot, for your sports team to post up, get a lot more light. Not saying that Oakland fans don't deserve teams because Oakland fans are always solid, especially the Raiders fans. They were always solid, and I'm sure a lot of those diehard fans are traveling with. They travel with to Vegas to still root for the Raiders. I'm pretty sure you got those diehards that do that. It's diehard fans all over. Salute to all the diehard fans for every sport. Um, Wrap this up with the hockey, man. Look at the Brewers. They set records, but are they gonna win? Are they gonna win the Stanley Cup? It's teams that's playing. They come in with it, but the Brewers are off to a pretty good start so far. So we'll see what's gonna happen in the NHL. You know, uh, Guy got busted in the face and was still out there competing. I mean, you talk about tough. Take nothing away from the people being tough, but what about you know? The stats where they said, it's so many 100 goalers this year or whatever, and that counts your goals and your assists, and then the assist of the assist and all that stuff being combined. But a lot of players bringing that into it, so it's the first time that you have all these players in the playoffs doing similar, doing something spectacular. So you get a better group. But my shout out goes to the Kraken, who haven't been long a part of the NHL, and they already make the playoffs. A lot of times expansion teams don't make the playoffs right away like that. But that's hats off to them for doing that. For being competitive right off the rip. That's good for the brand of hockey, and that's good for the city of Seattle having a hockey team and them doing their thing. Uh, Pretty much. And right before my time runs out, I always do my special shout. So my special shout today is going to go out to Luka Doncic, who's Well, I guess that's my time. Sorry about that. I knocked my mic out. But anyway, thanks to Sports for America for putting me on. Again, check out Nerd Focus, Fancy Lips, and Fam Brand. And also don't forget Pains that a Man Hides by yours truly, going by my middle name, Karuen, Kiruen on Amazon.com. Check out the paperback for me. If you want me to autograph it, if I'm in your town or in your city, I will autograph it. This has been Diehard Fan. Again, hats off to Sports for America, and hopefully soon we'll be back on Facebook Live. Um, y'all have a good one.